Good morning, everybody. This is Terry Pappy, and here I am with a Tuesday Tips with Terry live. And I hope you're having a good start to your day so far if you're already up and able to catch this live. I wanted to focus on a very fun topic for me, which is sharing gratitude and saying thank you to your clients. And I don't really want to make this just about clients. There are also people in your life that help, either inspire you or give you ideas, or even are, out there and sharing content that you really find helpful. So there's a lot of great ways to say thank you. And I wanted to share a couple of things that I like to do to say thanks beyond just the typical. One thing, obviously, is I'm very sentimental about old school things. So there are some ways I say thank you that are very old school. And what I mean specifically is I actually get out stationery and I handwrite a note. I don't do those, auto send cards that, you put stuff in. I actually, I'm very thoughtful about the stationery that I select. I use Crane stationery, which I just love. And that comes from years and years and years ago when I was probably 10, 12, I don't know, back when I was a kid, and I loved writing letters. I think it was a sign of me becoming a writer in the future, but I just loved writing letters, and I got so excited when I would find a beautiful stationery or something really that I loved, the feel of it or the look of it. It just looked elegant or it was different. And I would love just handwriting these letters to friends and family and just staying in touch that way. And I still do it to this day because I really, really enjoy it. It's satisfying for me. It's sort of like a creative expression, and I just love to write anyway. So any excuse to get a pen in my hand where I can actually communicate with somebody, I love it. One of the other things that I enjoy doing is I love to read. I'm voracious. My bookshelf is looking a little slim because I've done a spring purge and have gone through a lot of my books and given old ones that I've read numerous times to the library. I always donate all my books to the library if I'm not giving them to somebody to read. But I also have a huge digital library of Kindle books that make dwarfs what was on this series of shelves behind me. And I love reading nonfiction. That's my favorite thing. For me to read fiction, that means I'm totally checking out, like I'm on vacation, or I'm just needing to get away from my brain constantly wanting to learn and grow and just hear how other people are experiencing life and whatnot. And so one of the things that I really enjoy doing is I'll listen to a podcast I like. And if, like, for example, Donald Miller has a great podcast, his Story Brand podcast. And he's on this, I don't know if he's got a deal with his publisher or what's going on, but every week he interviews an author who's got a new book out, which is great because it's kind of a cool way to get insight into thought leaders and who's writing new books. And I've actually picked up a couple of the books from the authors that he's interviewed. And they're all in line with his thinking and his framework on Story Brand, which is in total alignment with what I do in my business for my clients about simplifying their marketing. So obviously Donald wrote his Story Brand, which I'm a huge advocate of. I use this framework in my business for my clients. And a couple of the people that he has interviewed, I've really enjoyed their books. There was one in particular, it's called Move Your Bus by Ron Clark. And he's the teacher that has totally reinvented the school classroom and environment. And he's a really cool guy. And this Move Your Bus book is really about how to be a leader and lead your team. And he uses his experience in working with people in the school, in the education environment, to actually parlay that into the work environment for leaders in business. And I thought it was really fabulous. And I was like, I have a client that he has a huge team. His business has grown so fast. And I was like, this would be great for Mark to read. So I ordered the book, sent it from Amazon, wrote him a personal note, and sent it off to him. And he was very touched by the fact that out of the blue, and this is a client I've had for 8 years now, and that I just kind of sent this to him and was thinking about him. And it's those special touches that really make a difference when you have these relationships, because it is kind of easy to take for granted your clients that you've had for a long time. And, when you get busy trying to, generate leads with new business and whatnot. So I think that that's the simplest way to share with somebody that you're thinking about them. And if you accompany it with a really special note that talks about who they are as a person and how you see the correlation in the book, not that you're just throwing a trendy book at them to say, hey, look, I'm reading this, you get this too. No, it's really thoughtful where you're thinking about who they are and what they're trying to accomplish in their world, and you're just offering something. They may or may never read it. That's beside the point. It's more that you're making a gesture, that you're paying attention to them, and that you're realizing that they're having struggles in certain areas, and you're recognizing their successes as well. And I love to send when I get new clients who are just an absolute, I get so excited with some of my new clients that come on board. I'm like, there's so many opportunities to improve their business and level them up, scale stuff, simplify their marketing. And I know it's going to be a long-term relationship, which is what I love to build. I don't like these one-hit wonders because there are other people that take care of that. I'm all about the long-term engagements, right? So I'm not here for a hot date, if you know what I mean. And I have a new client that I've shared a couple of my books with. I usually send out my Compass Playbook, which is, and the journal. So they have a little Compass journal to go with it. And I sent out a couple of those to a new client, a husband and wife team that I'm really, really excited to be working with. And they sent me, Sean actually sent me the first book he wrote, or I'm not sure actually if this is one of the first ones he wrote. I can't remember. He's written 22. He's very prolific as a writer. And I thought I was, but he's got me beat hands down. And he sent me this lovely book, which is a memoir. And it's so funny because we had so many parallels in our personal lives. He's a widower, I'm a widow. And it's just really neat that both of our experiences inspired both of us independently to write books about our experience. So see what I mean? It's like you get to know these people on a personal level without it being weird. And it's just a lovely way to actually get to know them a little bit more and even open up more conversations, because we get so focused on generating leads and, selling the next client and taking care of the clients we currently have that we miss opportunities to really step in and say, hey, I really see what you're dealing with. And if it's not a book, it could be something else. I mean, you could send something really sweet. Like if they're going through some troubling times, you may want to send them a funny video. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy something like send them a bouquet of flowers or something a little more elaborate, a gift certificate to a spa day or something to get them to have some stress relief. Whatever it is, it's really personal to you, and it's how you're seeing them as a person. What is it that I can do that reaches beyond the client, vendor relationship and make it more about person to person. And that's just my style. I really like building those kinds of relationships because the work is going to get done, right? And it's just lovely to get to know people at that level, and it makes, for me personally, it really makes what I'm doing as a professional, as a creative, so much more rewarding. It makes me love my job that much more because I get to know people at that personal level. So, and saying thank you to somebody is just a gift of love. It's a way to give them a virtual hug or a real hug and let them know that it's going to be okay and everything's, going in the right direction and you're doing all right, because, we're all struggling. And just giving that verification and that acknowledgement is just wonderful. So I encourage you to reach out to someone today and say thank you, and in your special way, and feel free to just let me know what you did and share on the page here. And I'd love to hear from you. So thanks again for checking in. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you soon. Bye.